Hello, my name is Alyssa Trevino, and I'm a student with Grand Canyon University. And this will be my first assignment as podcast. My podcast is called Mind Matters, Exploring the Roots of Mental Illness. Welcome to Mind Matters, Exploring the Roots of Mental Wellness. I'm your host, Alyssa, and I'm so glad that you're here today. Today, we're exploring how biology and social environments shape mental health and why a biophysiosocial approach helps people heal more effectively. Now, throughout today's episode, I'll use spoken and text citations. Okay, I do have my references as well. So most of my in-text citations will sound like according to colleagues of the year, just so you know exactly where each idea I'm pulling from and where it comes from. So, section 1 is all about understanding social determinants of health. So, before we get into the brain, we need to talk about the world around us. What social determinants of health and what they are. So, according to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention in 2024, social determinants of health are the non-medical factors that shape daily life. Where we're born, how we grow, work, live, play, worship, and age, and the broader forces like economic policies and social norms that shape those conditions. Also, according to the World Health Organization, formerly known as WHO of 2025, social determinants also include how power, money, and resources are all distributed across populations. And again, according to Healthy People of 2030, there are 5 core domains that really affect us. We have the economic stability, educational access, quality, also healthcare access and quality of neighborhood and built environment, and social and community context. Economic stability really relies regarding the income, employment, financial security. It affects stress and access to care. When we talk about educational access and quality influences and confidence, opportunity, health literacy, and then when we go in deeper in regards to healthcare access and quality, this includes like insurance. Who has insurance? Who will not get insurance? What available providers are there? Do we have transportation to meet our needs? And anything against culturally respectful care. When we talk about neighborhood and built environment, this includes housing safety, transportation, clean air, water, food access, safe places to be active. And then when we just go in deeper with social and community contexts, this basically covers the support one needs, the belonging, any type of discrimination, and social cohesion. So, just as I was talking, I wanted you to understand what are social determinants of health. And before we get into our brain, I wanted you just to get a feel of what are the social determinants of health. So, biological determinants of mental health. So, mental health isn't just emotional, it's biological too. So, according to Levine and colleagues in 2021, we have what you call neurotransmitters, just like serotonin, dopamine, the love hormone. It helps regulate mood, sleep, motivation, and reward. When these symptoms are dysregulated, people may experience depression, anxiety, low motivation, or even sleep disruption. According to Jess and colleagues of 2025, some individuals have genetic and physiological vulnerabilities that heighten stress sensitivity and risk for conditions like depression or PTSD, especially when social stressors are present. Now, the social determinants in action. According to Monohar and colleagues of 2025, economic hardship, unstable income, unemployment, food insecurity is all linked to worse mental health trajectories over time. And according to Minihan and colleagues of 2023, the social isolation and routine disrupting during COVID-19 did increase anxiety and depression, especially among young adults and adolescents. And also, according to the Healthy People 2030, neighborhood factors like transportation, pollution, access to healthy food, and safe spaces, they predict stress levels and mental health outcomes. So let's now talk about our brain structures and jump in more about our neurotransmitters. So, according to the Levine and colleagues of 2021, we have what you call the amygdala. This is what processes fear and threat. So, of course, an individual under chronic stress or trauma can lead to amygdala hyperactivation. And this will show up as hypervigilance, anxiety, strong emotional reactivity. According to Levine and colleagues, the prefrontal cortex supports executive functioning, emotional regulation, and again, when overwhelmed, people are going to struggle with attention, planning, impulse control, reappraisal. And again, according to Levine and colleagues, serotonin helps stabilize mood and sleep, and dopamine guides reward and motivation. Any type of dysregulation can contribute to depression, addiction, and psychotic disorders. So now we understand the factors, the social determinants of mental health. And we are also understanding the biological traits of this. But therapy planning for social workers, what helps and what hinders? So let's focus on treatment planning. The part social workers do every day. We'll look at common therapies and the barriers that can get in the way so we plan realistically. Mind-body interventions. According to Larkey and colleagues of 2020, mindfulness, breath work, gentle movement can improve heart rate variability, which is a biological marker linked to emotional regulation and stress recovery. Now, these are great for anxiety, trauma symptoms, chronic stress, and somatic tension. But what it hinders, clients may feel mindfulness is unfamiliar, too slow, or uncomfortable. We again have cultural beliefs that may not align. There may be no private space. Some trauma survivors feel unsafe closing their eyes. We can offer grounding, sensory techniques, and movement-based options to keep safety first. We also have cognitive behavioral therapy, formerly known as CBT. According to Levine and colleagues of 2021, CBT helps rewire patterns of thought and behavioral and aligns with how emotions and stress circuits work in the brain. It's effective for depression, anxiety, and panic. But what it hinders is low energy can limit homework, literacy barriers, trauma may require stabilization before cognitive reconstructing. We can adapt with visuals, briefer exercise, and strengths-based pacing. Now, trauma-informed approaches, including TF and CBT and grounding, according to Levine and colleagues of 2021, trauma reshapes amygdala prefrontal pathways. We lead with safety, regulation, and trust so clients can process at a tolerable pace. Now, what it will hinder was fear for re-experiencing pain, unsafe living situations, the stigma from society, and limited session access. We emphasize choice, predictability, and resource binding. Case management and social support is another factor that we can do. According to Jesse and colleagues of 2025, addressing social determinants of health like housing, food, transportation, discrimination is a critical to sustain mental health gains. We coordinate resources, peer support, and advocacy. But again, we have wait lists, insurance limits, transportation, language barriers, mistrust, and all environmental stresses. That's why we pair clinical care with system navigation and policy advocacy. Psychoeducation and skill building. It's one. We explain how serotonin and dopamine affect mood and motivation, how chronic stress overactivates the amygdala, and we teach grounding, communication, and boundaries. Again, the hinders are the stigma, in society, low health literacy, family resistance, being overwhelmed. We try to use clear, compassionate language, a lot of empathy, so we can match skills to the person's readiness. We have also what you call integrated care plans. Most clients benefit from a mix of mind, body, plus cognitive behavioral therapy skills, plus case management. Now, according to Jesse and colleagues of 2025, integration of biological and social perspectives aligns care with real world needs. This is very interesting. I really hope that you are understanding all the work that social workers do actually put into when we're coming across clients who are faced upon social, you know, health determinants. I would like to, jump into more of the therapy planning for social workers and also why this matters for social work practice. It does reduce stigma, okay? And stigma is a big part of how a client feels. According to Jesse and colleagues in 2025, a biophysiosocial lens validates clients' experiences and fosters dignity. It improves outcomes. Okay, according to Levine and colleagues, understanding brain body processes guides targeted interventions that last. It advances equity. According to Healthy People 2030 and CDC of 2024, addressing social determinants of health, housing, education, transportation, discrimination helps close mental health gaps. It aligns with person and environment, according to Just and colleagues in 2025. Integrating biology with social context creates client-centered, culturally responsive care. Mental health is shaped by the world within us, the world around us, by pairing brain-based tools with social supports, and by planning around barriers. We offer care and compassionate, practical, and effective. To me, this has been very important in understanding what are the social determinants of health and how they affect mental health. Thank you for listening to Mind Matters. See you next time. And again, this is our references, the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention of 2024, Social Determinants of Health, Healthy People of 2030, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the World Health Organization of 2025, Social Determinants of Health, Jess D.V. Smith and L.J. Lewis Fernandez in addressing social determinants of health in individuals with mental disorders in clinical practice, Larky L. Kim James in mind, body, and physiosocial interventions may similarly affect heart rate variability patterns in cancer recovery. Levine and Cohen, physiological health well-being and the mind-heart-body connection. We have Manohar in World Health Organization, social determinants of health predict the mental health trajectories for young Australians. Miniham, we have social determinants of mental health during a year of COVID-19 pandemic. Development and physiopathology. So again, thank you so much. This will be my podcast closing. I really want to thank you so much for joining me on my very first podcast episode. I truly hope I was able to shed some light on the social determinants of mental health and why they matter in all of our lives. These issues can feel big and complex, but understanding them is the first step towards creating healthier communities and supporting one another in meaningful ways. If today's conversation resonated with you, inspired you, or even sparked a new question, I'd love for you to stick around for our next future episodes. There's so much more to explore together. Until next time, take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and remember, mental health isn't just personal, it's social. Thanks for listening. Alyssa, have a great evening.